Hi, my name is Ellen. Oh, and this beautiful gal is Betsy. Right now I'm converting her into my full-time home with the help from my family and especially my sister, who we've already been seeing a lot. This week I'm setting up my electrical setup, and I'll explain why I decided not to include an inverter. So let's get to it. Hello, my name is Ellen and this is Betsy. This week's episode I'm going to show you how I installed my solar system and why I've chosen not to include an inverter, which is AC power. If that's the part that you're most interested in, you can just go to this timestamp. I'm going to be explaining why I've chosen not to include an inverter in my solar system in this part. If you're here for the complete install, I'm going to share one of the things that I've bought, the components that I've chosen, and the way that I installed everything. So I decided to buy the 200 watts solar kit from Renogy. That specific kit includes two 100 watts of solar panels, one MMPT charger, and the wires from the solar panels to the MMPT charger that's included. Some other things that's included in that kit is the wires that goes from the MMPT charger to the battery. So you also have those. So some components that I bought that is beyond that kit are my bus bars, the positive and negative bus bar. Honestly, they aren't that necessary. My setup is, as I've told you before, very simple and very minimal, but I decided to include them just if I decide to add something or even an inverter. If I decide to do that, I'm not, but the option's there. Yeah, so I included that. I have this Bluetooth thing from Renogy that's bought separately. I bought that so I'll be able to monitor my system on my phone. Additionally, I have my fuse box. You can connect any DC appliance, which are two wires, a positive and negative, and that will be connected to my MMPT charger. And all the DC appliances will draw its power from my battery, which is 12 volt, I believe 100 amp hours, isn't it not? I'm gonna check. Yeah, 100 amp hours. So that is pretty small. I will probably invest in another battery pretty soon. Right now it's not necessary and it's completely fine. But yeah, I decided to make this a little corner right here just to keep it very restricted in one area only. So I have my bus bars here, my MMPT charger in this corner, fuse box right above it, obviously the little Bluetooth thing, and then the wires go from the side here down to the battery. I did also buy two additional breakers. I'm going to have one breaker in between my solar panels, like the wire, to the MMPT charger. That way I'll be able to disconnect the connection if I need to work on my system or something like that. The second breaker is actually in between my positive bus bar and the positive terminal on my battery. There's a breaker there, and that's just to disconnect if I don't want any power into my system. In between my breaker and the positive bus bar is an ANL fuse, and that's on 20 amps. I'm pretty sure that if you get more solar panels, you need to increase that, maybe to 40 amps, but do your own research. Another appliance that I bought beyond the kit was a 10 amps inline fuse that goes in between my solar panel and the wire that connects to my MMPT charger. So in between that, there's a little inline fuse on 10 amps. I was told I needed that, so I put that in. Don't ask me why, but I did, and it works fine. I get lots of solar in here, so that's great. I think before I put something in permanently, I'm gonna check to see if everything can fit in here, and I want to make my designated electrical corner. So let's get started. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Woohoo.
Auflegen.
So this terminal was actually meant to go to my battery, but I do have some that are a bit smaller, perfectly fine, and I'll be using them to attach to my battery. So I already attached this wire to the breaker. This end will go to my battery. So now I just need to fit this one in here, put my washer and then the other thing in here, and then I'll attach this one to my A&L fuse that's down here. Okay, I need to put the washer and then the big ass, so like this. And make sure it fits. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I don't know if you can see this. I don't care about you right now, just get out. When this breaker comes in, the wire needs to go like entirely upwards, because this one is going to go on here and it's not going to be able to fit if this one goes across. So I'm just going to put it like that. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Now I need to drill some new holes for this bastard. Let's see then. Oh my god. Oopsies. Okay. Ow. läskigt. Hur fick jag laddningsstöd? Oh my god. And now for the question, why didn't I buy an inverter? So my solar system is very limited and very simple. I only have 200 watts of solar up on my roof, one 100 amp hours battery. I was only able to do that, have that simple and limited setup, because I knew I didn't want an inverter. This battery will only be used for my fridge, my lights, my Max air fan, just minimal things basically. So an inverter converts DC power into AC power. DC power is mostly used for 12 volts, so pretty limited and not that strong. AC power, you can charge stuff like for your phone, your computer, or even kitchen appliances. So what I've heard people say on YouTube and just people who does van life, an inverter also draws a lot more power than you think. If I wanted an inverter, I probably needed to upgrade my system, so add another battery, another solar panel, which costs some money. Probably not as much as the alternative that I chose. Give me a second. Oh my goodness. Whew. I decided to buy this beauty. So this is the alternative that I chose for an inverter. I decided to buy the portable power station from Anker Solix. This one is on 768 watt hours, which is pretty big. They do have small ones and even bigger ones, but I decided on this one because I do know that I'm going to be living here for the future and be full-time in here. I'm very, very happy. It's pretty heavy, so I'm going to store it right here under my bed. So these will be two separate setups basically for DC and AC power. All my DC appliances are connected to my solar system with the DC battery and all that fun stuff. With AC, I'm going to be using this power station. I'm going to charge it when I'm driving, and I do have some cigarette sticks around the van that I'll be able to charge it. It seems pretty solid. It has a lot of features which I just love. I have this light bar on here. It's really cool. It even comes with some light things. They're so cool. And even this thing I need to show you. This might become a shoe. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I love it. There are different ways to charge it. You can charge it when you're driving with AC power, so just plug it in, and you could buy solar panels for it. I'm probably gonna charge it by when I'm driving. When I did my research, if people have chosen not to include an inverter, I didn't really find anything. Like, yeah, there were a few people who decided to buy one initially, then got rid of it because they decided not to use it anymore. I just thought that I would start with this. I can always add it down the line because I do have my bus bars, so I can just connect it to that, because that is where you need to connect your inverter, to your bus bars. And that's why I've done it. I can always change my mind, buy an inverter if that's what I think down the line would be better. So yeah, that's why I've decided not to buy an inverter, but I do have this as an alternative. So I'm going to leave the links down in the description if you're interested in these products. I'm not sponsored. This is definitely a more expensive option, I think. You can definitely find smaller ones, bigger ones, just what you prefer. So thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for 100 subscribers, which is incredible. Thank you for being so kind and supportive. I really do appreciate it. So I'll see you in next week. Right. I think that's my cue of leaving, so goodbye. The music. And it's starting to rain, love that. If that makes sense. Yeah, that was basically my solar system. I did buy an... Now there's a car coming. And don't get electrocuted. I don't know, am I making sense? I don't know if it makes sense.